Thank you very much. 3.1% clearly masks a lot, and I suppose what I'm trying to ascertain is how much does it mask. I mean, to take one example, the EAGF shows 23% of projects have quantifiable errors, and then the error rate is 1.7%. So obviously it's far, far more than 3.1% of transactions where errors exist. And to me, both of those things matter. Overall error rate clearly matters, but also what percentage of transactions contain errors matter significantly as well. Secondly, I want to ask a question about quantifiable and non-quantifiable errors. So, again, to take an example, if I refer to page 217 of the report, it will tell us that for rural development, environment, climate and fisheries, that 39% of the transactions contain errors, so 63 transactions contain errors there, and 41 of those are described as quantifiable. It then goes on to estimate the error rate at 4.9% for that category. So how are the non-quantifiable errors included or not included in that 4.9%? What are the criteria for inclusion and assessment and estimate of that? Or if they're not, then does that mean that the error rate there is actually higher? Thirdly, in terms of recovery, you state in the report that before the monies have been recovered, that the error rate would have been 4.3%, but then there is some recovery, it comes back down to 3.1%. So the question I'd ask there is the sample still representative? Because obviously there's been extra scrutiny from the Court of Auditors. Has some of this come back in because of the scrutiny, or would it have definitely all come in anyway? Moving on to Global Europe, page 256, where you say that that funds are merged with other public accounts, and of course that will then mean that many errors won't show up, and for fairly obvious reasons, almost by definition, they can't. But equally, those are areas where surely you would expect there to be some of the highest error rates of all. Next, I've got unequivocal errors is mentioned. In page 234, you're talking about conclusive evidence. Again, I'd like to ask what the distinction is between errors that are provable and to what extent there are suspicions that then aren't included in the report. I think the question on financial instruments has been asked. I'm aware that I'm very short of time, so I'll just finish with this, which is just that when we hear questions, even a question raised on political motivation in any sense, this should never be. And I just wonder, for the future, with appointments to Court of Auditors, really, should we not be appointing far more from the private sector? Because that then gives clear confidence. Should we be looking at that for the future as a means of making sure that everybody has got that clear confidence from the outside as well as from the inside?